who's gonna hop on. Hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Hello, hello. Crazy cat. Hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Anybody? Hello. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Anyone? Be a quiet night. Hello, hello. Nobody wants to talk to me tonight. Susie, Omaha. Oh, hey, Susie. My husband was from Blair, Nebraska. Glad to have you here. Thanks for the likes, guys. Sorry, I got behind on the chat. Hello. Do you have a name? Hello, and where are you from? If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Right around the corner, exactly. Yeah, I actually lived in Omaha 31 years ago. And I lived in Fort Calhoun, and I lived in Blair. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Now I live in South Dakota. My name is Renee, and I'm from South Dakota, if you're not familiar. Shayla from Indiana, welcome. Glad to have you here. So I'm going to let a few more hop on. Ugh, sorry guys, I get all these trolls. Alright, now it's not going to let me. They changed their... Oh, they changed how to block somebody. Had to figure it out. Hi from Missouri, Don, welcome. Dexter from Hawaii, welcome. I'll let a few more people hop on and then I'll get started. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Welcome, welcome. Alright, well, I guess I will get started. So my name is Renee from South Dakota, Salem, Oregon. Oh, I've been there. I love Oregon. Hello from Oklahoma. Looks like I'm doing well. Yes, I am. Russell, Iowa. I'm not sure where that is, but I'm from Iowa. Florida. Kay, welcome. What are we doing? Well, I'm going to get to that. Hi, Renee from Louisiana. Welcome. All right, guys. So, if you're not familiar with my channel, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota, and I started my TikTok journey because on September 14th of 2023, for TikTok purposes, my husband unalived himself, and that's when I discovered that I had abilities to talk to my guides and channel people, and then also discovered what my purpose in life was. And my purpose is to be here and to help others deal with their traumas and to uplift others. And so I started my TikTok journey in March because I procrastinated. Spirit kept telling me, you need to get on social media more. And I'm like, yeah, I will. I'm very technologically challenged. So I had been on Facebook and on Instagram, but I wasn't on TikTok until March when my grandkids came and helped Grandma set it up. So that's kind of my story and why I'm here. And now every day I meditate on a subject, and my guide gives me a subject to talk about. So that's why I'm here. Tonight's subject is grief. So we're going to talk about different grieving and different types of loss tonight. Sometimes they just give me a subject and say, go on. And I'm supposed to just talk about it. Sometimes they give me a subject and sometimes they tell me things to talk about. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Loss of my daughter, Caitlin. Do you have a name and where are you from? Is it Jerry? And I like to take notes, so if you tell me things so I can remember, so if I see you again, it's easiest for me. Yes. And where are you from, Jerry? And how old was your daughter and when did you lose her? If you don't mind me asking. I'm a very much question asker if you talk to me, and we're not shy here, so feel free to talk. Hi from Indiana. She was 1 year old. So sometimes I get a little behind on the chat, but I'll catch up. 93, that's year I graduated and I got married. I was with my husband for 32 years, so I gotta back up the chat for just a second. So I think I missed Kay from Florida. Welcome. I think I missed you, by the way. Sorry about that. Caitlin. Would you like to talk about that tonight? We can. And if we get off topic, you know, it is where it is. I don't believe in coincidences, so I think everything happens for a reason. We don't talk about, there's just a couple things. I only have a couple rules. We don't talk about politics at all here. There's enough pages that can cover that. This page is about helping people deal with their grief and traumas and uplifting people who are lonely. So this is a positive only, no political posts, please. That's my only rule. And also, we agree to disagree here. So you're not going to agree with everything I say, and I'm probably not going to agree with everything you say. So if we disagree, we agree to disagree. And if you can't do that, then I just ask that you hop out, keep scrolling. Or sometimes I end up having to block, which I really don't like to do. Actually, no. If you must have missed my intro. So I'm on TikTok because September 14th of 23, my husband unalived himself. So that's why I'm here. To help others. I found out after he passed that was my purpose in life. And that I had to go through that and other traumas in my life to help other people. So, but thank you for that. I appreciate it. And you're obviously from Texas, Texas boy. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. You're welcome to chime in anytime here. This is very much a public forum for people. If you have a loss you want to talk about or a trauma, we're not shy around here. I normally have at least 5 or 6 regulars on. I don't see any of them yet tonight. Hi from Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome. Do you have a name? Eric from Pennsylvania. Welcome. There's one of my regulars. Haven't seen you in a while, Miss Debbie. How are you? Tim, welcome. Where are you from, Tim? John. Glad to have you here. Yeah, God does help us with strength and healing. I don't disagree with that. But I think he also sends helpers to help people. Indianapolis, welcome. Robin from Arkansas, welcome. What did I miss? Aren't you going wonderful? Just been busy. Well, we missed you, Debbie. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. I lost my son, the alcohol. I think you did a wonderful job. God bless you all, okay? Thank you. Thank you for the follow, Texas boy. Would you like to talk about your son, Wes? You're sure welcome to. Thank you to everybody who's following. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. I'm going to try and just get started. Hopefully y'all caught my intro. It's so hard, and I apologize if you're on here the whole time and I repeat myself. It's really hard when you have people hopping on and off. So tonight, my guides wanted me to talk about grief, right? And we're talking about different, grief isn't just one thing, right? Like you have the loss of a person to death, loss of a relationship, loss of a friendship. So there's different types of loss, right? Hello. Sarah, are you on? I think that's... Okay. It's my daughter's thing just popped up. Hey, Wayne. Hello, James. Where are you from, James? Roger from Utah. Welcome. We're in Utah, Roger. Just curious. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. So tonight we're talking about the different types of grief, right? Loss of a death to a death, a relationship, you know, the loss of a relationship, the loss of a friendship. I'm from Alabama. Welcome. Salt Lake City. Alrighty. Thanks for liking the live, Debbie. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Terry, it's been forever. North Carolina, welcome. Glad to have you here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it back up here. And then, of course, you have different stages of grief, right? And depending on what kind of loss or what you are grieving, right? The guilt, anger, sadness, loneliness. Hiya from Idaho originally, just moved to Minnesota. Where in Idaho? I lived in North Idaho for 4.5 years. Beth from Texas, welcome. And Mr. Brian from Florida, welcome. Thank you for liking the live, Roger. Hayward, you're back. My name is Norma Jean and I'm from Alabama. Welcome. I'm pretty, thank you. Idaho Falls by Yellowstone. Yeah, I know exactly where it is. My husband and I stayed there several times. And that's where Melaleuca is. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Glad to see me. Wes. All right. So, just trying to help you out, that's all. Okay, I appreciate that. Yes, ma'am. Birmingham. Glad to have you. Just trying to keep up with the chat, guys. Okay, so then obviously, so there's stages of grief, right? And depending on what kind of loss, you have guilt, anger, sadness, and loneliness, which is all of it is normal. Depending on what kind of loss. Hi, Renee, how are you? Brian from Florida. You're listening? Yes. You must not have heard me. I said, hey, Brian from Florida. I saw you popped on. And I'm good. Thank you. I'm going to be a year older tomorrow, so we'll see how good I am. Yours is loneliness. Is that what you're saying, Terry? Congratulations. I'm going to be the big 5-0 tomorrow, so I don't know if that's congratulations or not, but just another day. Wayne, the birthday cake. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate that. Oh, shoot. Thanks for liking the live. So does anybody have anything they want to talk about as I go along? Just pipe in. Like I said, we're not shy around here. If you've never been here before, happy pre-birthday. I'm still young. That's what everybody keeps saying. But, you know, when I was a kid, I thought 50 was old. I'll be older in 3 days. 52, just another day. Yeah, right? Exactly. Well, I start a new job tomorrow, so I'm not sure how happy it'll be. We'll find out by the end of the day. Just turned 70 the 11th of this month. Well, happy belated birthday, Terry. We don't talk about politics here. No politics here. There's plenty of pages you can post politics. This is all about healing and people's traumas and just uplifting people. So I can't have that here. So I just appreciate you don't post again. You'll be 50 next year. Well, there you go. Me too. I'm 70, but God bless you and keep you. Thank you. Oh, you're so welcome. If you post again, I'm gonna have to block you, and it's not that I have anything against anyone. This page is strictly about helping people heal. That's it. Much love and peace to you, Terry. I don't like blocking people, especially when you're not doing anything wrong. It's just, this page is strictly about that. I have to keep it that way. Are you doing a good job? Everybody loves you. I'm not sure. Is that rhetorical? I'm kind of confused. Block him. Yeah. Yeah, we don't do politics here. I just can't. Thanks for liking the live, Brian. I appreciate that. So does anybody here, are my people still here that had their loss? Jerry, are you still here by chance? Love and healing, exactly. Helping people get through their traumas. Oh, there's Debbie. Debbie, do you want to talk about anything with your loss with your husband? Would you like to input something for anything that we just are starting to talk about? I'm missing my mom and dad. Okay, and that's legit. So here's the next thing about grieving, right? Is feeling it, right? You have to, when, in order to work through it, you have to feel it, right? That's very important. And I think that's sometimes a step that people try to avoid. They think, okay, I'm gonna work or distract myself, and then I don't have to feel the loss, right? And like I said, the loss can be the loss by death, a loss of a relationship, the loss of a friendship. You know, there's many types of losses. But feeling it. Sorry, I was just catching up. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. I had several losses. You have to deal with it. Exactly. Yes, if you do not deal with it, it will come back to haunt you in another way. Is your name Quincy? Hello, and where are you from? If you're not familiar with my channel and my videos, I've done a video before, and maybe even a live for that matter. Thank you for the follow, Roger. I appreciate that. I also had a full-term stillborn in Evansville, Indiana. Welcome. In 1994. And I had a 3-year-old to take care of when I got home. And so I didn't deal with it, right? It was years later before I dealt with it. I just went home and took care of my 3-year-old and tried to pretend it didn't happen for the most part. And it came back to haunt me years later, right? So these things never go away, right? You just shove them down, right? You shove them down, but then eventually it comes back up. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. And so it's really important that, yes, sometimes you do need a distraction, but to remember that when you have these feelings, different stages of losing somebody or of this loss, that you feel it, right? Guilt. I had a lot of guilt after my husband left. If you haven't been on the live the whole time, my husband unalived himself September 14th of 2023. South Dakota. Yes. Thank you, Brian. Guilt. I had a lot of guilt in the beginning that I had to work through, right? Guilt that I couldn't save him. Guilt that I did something wrong for that to happen, right? And I had to work through a lot of that. Anger. I still deal with anger. We're a year later, and when I talk to my friends, I talk about, I feel guilty for having anger. I feel guilty for being angry with him. We were together for 32 years, and my whole entire world of 32 years, the day he did that, my whole world crumbled. Nothing of my life resembled my life anymore, except for my apartment and my children. My whole life was gone in the split second that he made that decision. So I still struggle with anger with that. Sadness, right? You lost somebody. You lost a friend. Somebody died. You lost a relationship. There's sadness there, right? And I just thought of another one and it popped out of my head. It'll come back to me. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Give me one sec, guys, because I seriously just had something. New Mexico, dealing with years of grief and stress using EMDR. It's intense. Can you explain to me what the EMDR is? I'm really bad about stuff like that. That's where my husband came in handy, because what you call them, acronyms or whatever. Renee's not good with those. Thank you for liking the live, Brian. I appreciate that. I just had something with that. Loss of death, relationship, friendship. Something came to me, sorry, and it popped out as fast as it popped in. Maybe it'll come back. And I don't anymore, Brian. I don't. I've worked through that part of it. I lost my daughter when she was 7 weeks old from SIDS. I am so sorry. Is it Richard? Where are you from, Richard? And just know, if you do chat with me, I'm going to ask you questions. That's just what I do. I'm a question asker anyway. So just be prepared. So if you share, I'm going to ask you questions, probably. Sorry, all of a sudden these glasses are bugging that one ear lately. Norma Jean from Alabama. Oh, Norma Jean from Alabama. I'm sorry. Okay. You told me that earlier. I'm so sorry. So let me ask you this. 7 weeks old. Wow. Not even 2 months old. How did you deal with it? Do you mind me asking? How did you deal with that, or did you deal with that? In 91. Norman Jean, do you mind me asking you that? Did you deal with it, and how? Thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on and you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. And if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Jody, you're back. Yes, I'm okay, Jody. I still hate the holidays. Okay, good evening, Renee. I am from Kansas. Welcome. Brian, glad to have you here. So how do you deal with the holidays? Do you not deal with it? Thank you, Jody. I appreciate you caring. Sweet. That's sweet of you. So how do you handle the holidays? Because I know when I first had my stillborn, I struggled. And even like last year, right, was the first holidays without my husband. So I get it, right? I didn't want to celebrate Christmas at all. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. So I'm guessing Jerry must have hopped off. Norma Jean, are you still here? How did you deal with that, other than the holidays are hard? Melissa from Missouri, welcome. Anybody else got anything else they want to share or talk about? What does that mean, Debbie? Sorry. I'm clueless sometimes. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Oh, you'll be right back. I should have known that. Be right back. Thanks, Brian. That's nice of you. I had 3 other kids after her, and I made myself stay involved with them. Okay, so did you actually deal with her death? That's what I'm curious. Tomorrow's the 15th anniversary of my 18-year-old son passing. I am so sorry, Melissa. What was your son's name? Do you mind me asking? And how old was... Oh, 18. What, I assume he was 18 when he passed then? I take notes here for it, just so if you don't know. Tony, thanks for the follow. Yes, okay. Jacob. Oh my goodness. That's my son's name. So let me ask you, Melissa, if you don't mind me asking, how did you deal with that? And now it's the 15th anniversary tomorrow, so how will you deal with that tomorrow? Watching my daughter grow up without her mom is hard. Yes, he was. Okay. So your daughter doesn't have a mom. 1 second at a time. And so after it's the 15th anniversary, are you still 1 second at a time? Yeah, right. Isn't it heartbreaking, Brian? I had my stillborn when I was 19, and my youngest daughter had one at 19. Tell me that's not crazy coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but are you still taking it 1 second at a time 15 years later? Yes. Wow. Would you mind messaging me after the live? So if you're not familiar with my story, so my husband didn't leave me in a good spot financially. And so when my husband passed, I had to figure out how to deal with it, right? Everybody said just 1 second at a time, 1 foot in front of the other, right? And that all was great. Great. But I'm what you call the unique girl, the odd duck, right? And I knew that group therapy was not going to work for me, and I couldn't afford regular therapy. So I knew that somehow, some way I had to deal with this. That was after I decided I wasn't going to take my own life, right? And so I kind of became my own therapist with the help of my guides. And so I have a lot of good tricks and tips to help people deal with loss. If you're interested, just my 2 cents, you can take it or leave it. I'm going to talk about some of those things right now real quick. What do we do when the cards, the calls, and the visits stop and you're alone, right? Everybody else goes back to their life. The world's still revolving around us after we've had this loss. What do we do? For me, I came home and I deep dived into meditation, which then actually led me to my purpose. Journaling was a major one for me. And Melissa, I don't know, have you ever thought about journaling? Journaling is amazing, especially when you're grieving. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. The nice thing about journaling is you can get it out, right? It's not just stuck in here. You can get it out on paper. You know, for me, I would go sit in nature. Nature's another huge one. I would go sit in nature and I would just cry, and I would journal, and I would cry, and I would journal, and I would cry, and I would journal. And I would also meditate. But for me, it was, because even now, like, I've kept since my husband's passed, I've kept every single day, right? And so I was putting it all in a binder. I do regularly, because I write it in a notebook, and then it goes in a binder eventually. And as I was looking through my binder the other day, last week, and I was reading some of my journal, because I put everything in my notebook, not just what I journaled, but I was reading some of my entries at the very beginning, right? And I was reading, and it would say, you know, I'm angry with you today. I'm angry that you left me. I'm angry that you left me in this position. I'm angry. You know, I was angry you didn't leave me a note. You know, how dare you? We were together for 32 years and you couldn't even leave me a damn note, right? So these are the things that I would journal. Or, you know, today I'm so sad I'm alone. You left me alone, right? You swore you would never leave me. These are the kind of things that I would journal. And I know it might seem very trivial in the beginning, but it really does help. Okay, we don't talk about politics here. I really apologize, Steve. There's enough places you guys can post about politics. This page is about helping people heal from their losses and their traumas. So I have to keep a strict policy about that. So I just ask it that you not post again. Please and thank you. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. He threw up what was in his system. Are you asking me that? Oh, he threw up what was in his system. That's what you're telling me. Sorry. I've had a headache today, so my brain's not. But still, he still ended up passing, even though he threw it up. Every time I think I've forgiven him, then I'm angry again. So I'm not sure. And I know forgiveness isn't for them, right? Forgiveness is for us. I'm working on that one. The anger and the forgiveness I'm still working on, if I'm to be honest. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Tonight we're talking about, the topic from my guides is grief, and it doesn't just mean loss. It can be the loss from death, a relationship, or friendship. You still are working on both of those too, huh, Debbie? I gotta switch hands for a second here, guys. My hand's cramping and I gotta grab a drink. And I doubled up my cup and that was not smart, so then I can't grab it. Do you want to elaborate some more, Melissa? Oh, yeah, I'm working on it for sure. My guides wouldn't let me get away with not. It's hilarious because, well, it's not hilarious. It ends up being hilarious sometimes, but it's ironic, I should say. So almost always when they give me messages in the morning, I put them out, right? That's what most of my videos are. It almost always applies to my life, almost always. Same with these. A lot of times the lives always apply to my life. I'm just the guinea pig for my guides, and that's fine. So they're very good about, if they know there's something that I have not worked on, or they'll push it to the forefront for me by me having to talk to you guys. Decide to come visit, I call grief. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Welcome, Jim. We really missed you, Debbie. I think Wayne's still on here, so you guys would be the only two. Well, and Jim, he's regular. Are my guides counselors? In the spiritual realm, apparently. They're my angel guides. Karen from Utah, welcome. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thanks for liking the live, Debbie. You found life after tragedy. That's amazing. And then you decided to help other people. Wonderful. Well, yes, I decided to help other people, but that was after the fact that I discovered that that's what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So when I started meditating, the first message I ever got once I got home in meditation was, what heals you will heal others, right? And that was my very first puzzle piece to my purpose, right? And then they just give me little puzzle pieces here and there and here and there and here and there until it finally all came together. You haven't seen any of my affirmations lately? I just posted one this morning. I didn't have one yesterday. Well, I had one yesterday, but it didn't go out till today. And then so I don't think I had one over the weekend. I don't remember if I did one Saturday either. I didn't do one Saturday. So no, I didn't have any over the weekend. Technically I had one yesterday, but I didn't get it out till today. Jacob was hung in a tree to make it look like He took his... I am so sorry. I am so, so sorry. So what you're saying is he threw up everything that was in his system, so there was no way that it was... I am so sorry. If it's any consolation, my husband hung himself and I'm the one that found him. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Did you see that, Melissa? If you're just hopping on and you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. No, but 2 of his siblings did. Have they dealt with it, Melissa? Or have they dealt with it, or how are they dealing with it? Because that's not something that will ever leave you. At least not for me anyway. I never know from one second to the next when I close my eyes I'm going to see that. It's something that will haunt me for the rest of my life. Sadly. So your other son has, but it sounds like your daughter has not. How old are your kids, Melissa, Kyle, and Paige? Thank you for liking the live, Brian. I appreciate that. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. My granddaughter died by the hands of physicians. I didn't mean to laugh. Don't even get me started with that. Kyle's 20 and Paige is 19. So they were little. Oh my God, they were little when they saw their brother then. Correct? Because you said 15th anniversary tomorrow. 4 and 5? Am I right? Or was 20 and 19. Is that what you meant? That was their age when they saw him. I misread it. I apologize. From South Carolina, lost a child at 16 and 99. Wife and 17. I am so sorry, Keith. Well, we're here if you want to talk about it, Keith. Was 20. Yeah, I caught myself later. I'm sorry. Jacob was 18. Gotcha. Yeah, I misread it, Melissa. Wow, that's still traumatizing. It doesn't matter how old you are. You're so welcome, Keith. So did you deal with both of those deaths? Your wife being the closest? How long were you together with your wife? Wow. So your daughter's not dealing with it. 28 years. Yeah. My husband and I were married for 30, but we were together 32. If you're just hopping on and you're not, tell me who you are, where you're from, and if you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Wow. If you're not familiar with my channel, like I said, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota, and I talk to my guides, and so they usually give me the topic for the night. Every day has its struggles. Yeah, because it's been 7 years, correct? No words to describe the pain of grief. Yeah, no. Your granddaughter was 22 months old. Ugh, not quite 2. You're so welcome, Melissa. And you're welcome to message me. And just for an FYI, if I tell you to message me, that's great. But if I don't, and you message me, you're probably not going to get a response. I get tons of messages every day, so it would be a full-time job to answer them all. So you can message me. I'm probably not going to answer you unless I ask you to, or tell you you can. Yes. Wow. Anniversary is next month, and her anniversary was last month as well. Wow, Keith. Can I ask, Keith, how are you dealing? And we can keep talking about it, Melissa, if it helps. But I would suggest, for sure, journaling. If that's something you think you could do. And I just, go get a cheap notebook from Walmart, and write the date. And this is, and don't think about it, right? Just write whatever comes to you. And if emotion comes, feel it. You cannot suck it in. You got to feel it. You got to work your way through it. But like what I tell everybody is have a moment, but don't live there. Okay? 3 days after her daddy's birthday. Ugh. That's terrible. So Keith, how are you dealing? Because you dealt with the anniversary of her losing her last month. And then how are you dealing? Or are you? I don't know if you were on long enough to hear me tell Melissa. So journaling is what I discovered was a great tool for loss. Especially if you're still working through any of the guilt, anger, sadness, or loneliness. Sorry, I gotta switch hands again, guys. And nature. If you can get out into nature, especially if you're in a warm climate, if you can get your feet in the dirt, the grass, the sand, whatever, that's amazing. I don't believe I'm your mom. I go through whatever I have to do. One foot in front of the other, right? Breathe. Okay. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. If you're not familiar, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. It's about right. Yeah. And I remember, so my husband's journey started way before he took his life. It's a long story, and I'm sure that I have a video on it somewhere. I won't go into it right now, but so I started doing lives on Facebook because so many people had followed our journey up until that point. And so I felt that it was only right that I talk about the rest of our journey, right? They'd been with us to that point. And so I would get on lives and I would talk about it. And for me, it was a way of healing also. It helped heal me. But when I would talk about it, I lost my train of thought. Oh, some people would suggest to me, everybody's like, just take it one step at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute. And, and I truly believe that, right? 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 week at a time, 2 weeks at a time, a month, right? And then pretty soon you're dealing, and then you realize, wow, 3 months has went by, right? Just one foot in front of the other. I'm going to Kansas in December. Okay. Texas, welcome. Hey, Jen. How are you doing? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So if you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thanks for liking the live. I appreciate that. Well, Keith, know that you're more than welcome to message me if you need to talk about it, or, If you're still dealing and you need ways to deal with it, that's what I'm here for. That's part of my purpose. This is Princeton from Naples, Florida. Welcome. I'm Annette from Kansas. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I'm Renee. I'm from South Dakota. We are talking, if you're not familiar, we're talking about grief tonight, and grief can be the loss of, from a death, a relationship, a friendship, and we're talking about how we can deal with those things, the different stages of grief. Jim, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. I was in the Army in Kansas City. I'm a veteran. Well, welcome, and thank you for your service. I appreciate that. And I grew up like 5 hours from Kansas City, so I know right where that's at. Plus, I have family there. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. That's what I'm here to do, right? So. If you're just hopping on, tell us who you are, where you're from. Thank you for liking the live, guys. I appreciate that. Okay, guys, we're coming up to an hour. My sissy's name was Renee. She's in the sky with the angels. Well, what happened to your sissy? Do you mind me asking? And do you have a name and where are you from? Red Hill. Were you on here before? I'm grieving the loss of my 15 years with a narcissist. Lost what I've known, my house, most of. Oh man, do I relate to that? So when my husband unalived himself, I lost my whole world of 32 years, crumbled. All of my material possessions, my car, my camper, everything, my whole entire life crumbled. So I totally relate to that. So I totally relate. There's nothing left of, I mean, my whole life basically just was gone. Just gone. 32 years, just gone. So I understand completely. So if you guys aren't familiar, I'm generally on here Sunday through Thursday at between 7 and 8 o'clock Mountain Time. That might change up a little bit. My daughter's going to pick up some more hours. I'm not sure. I'll let you know. So there might be a couple nights that I'm not going to be able to be on because I'll have my grandson. She passed in 2016 from cancer within 3 days of finding out. Yeah, I just heard a story like that. Was it yesterday? So yeah, I get it. From Oklahoma. I'm so sorry for your loss. So this is, if you haven't gathered, this is what we talk about here, right? What people need to talk about. If you need to vent, if you need help, if you need friendship, if you are lonely, whatever it is that you need, this is what this community is about. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. So I am pushing an hour. Is there anything anybody else wants to talk about? You're welcome to talk. Don't be shy. We're not shy around here. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. No. I had a stillborn in 94. Full term. And I know everybody said, just give it time. Time heals, right? No, you just learn how to deal differently, right? I don't think you ever stop grieving. I think you just learn how to deal with it differently. Geneva from Kentucky, welcome. Glad to have you here. So yes, I totally agree there too. Yeah, it doesn't... Yeah, you're so welcome. Yeah, no, you just learn how to deal with it differently. You know, maybe you're not in the stages of guilt, anger, sadness, loneliness anymore. But and I don't even know what you would call that stage, but yeah, you just deal differently. For sure. Geneva, thank you for liking the live. I appreciate that. And even with my husband being gone a year, right? Obviously it's not the same. It's not as fresh, right, as it was a year ago. But you just learn how to deal differently. Annette, thank you for liking the live. Brian, thank you. Okay, guys, anything else you want to talk about? Or anybody? Okay, well, while we're quiet, I have to make my shameless plug because otherwise my guys get upset with me. So I just started a YouTube channel a little over a week ago. And basically right now it's the same as what you'll find here or on my Instagram or my Facebook. You're a widower. Well, welcome, Donnie, and I'm sorry to hear that. How long? And so I've also started a channeling service. If you're interested, you can email me. You can find that email at my YouTube channel, which is scorpiomedium74@yahoo.com. 7 years. Did you deal with it, Donnie? And if you don't mind me asking questions, how did you deal? So if you're interested in me channeling somebody for you, you can go there. I think I put it in the website on here because that's the only place that let me put it. I have to make that shameless plug because Spirit tells me to. Lost my mom 13.2 days later, stepmom 6 months, dad 3 weeks later, stepdad. Wow, that's a lot of loss. Well, you're welcome to message me and we can talk about that and how to even get started. Because see, that's the thing, is sometimes, you know, you lost your spouse, your child, whatever it may be, right? And you're just so in the thick of it and the world is still going on around you, you know, and it's like, okay, where do I begin? That sometimes is the biggest thing, is where do I begin? How do I begin to heal, to start healing, or to even deal with this, right? That's where I come in. I had to be my own therapist. When my husband unalived himself, like I said, he didn't leave me in a good spot financially. I couldn't afford therapy, and I'm an odd duck, and there was no way I was going to group therapy. So I had to figure out, how am I going to deal and heal, right? So you're more than welcome to message me, and we can talk about ways of just beginning that process, if you would like. If you're just hopping on, my name is Renee. I'm from South Dakota. Welcome. Where are you from, Donnie? Are you still here? It's asking me again, Wayne, if you want to be a guest. Texas, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. So anybody here that has hopped on tonight and has talked to me about your loss and you're interested in just somebody to talk to have another ear that understands, or you're looking for a way to get started to heal, or anything like that, you're welcome to message me. If I haven't told you, you can message me. I probably won't respond to you. I get hundreds and hundreds of messages every day between my social media. It literally would be a full-time job, and then someday I'm sure it will be a full-time job and I'll have an assistant that can help me, but right now it's just me. So just throwing that out there. If you're just hopping on, tell me who you are, where you're from. Thanks for liking the live, Debbie, and we missed you, girl. And I'll be back on track hopefully this week. I start a new job tomorrow, so we'll see. To be honest, I'm really not looking forward to it. But you know what? It's a paycheck. So, hi Jeffrey, how are you? Thank you for liking the live, Donnie. Appreciate that. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going back to housekeeping, but I'm taking a $6 pay cut, so maybe that's why I'm not looking forward to it. You've been good. You know, to be honest, the last couple months have been a little rough, but I'm dealing, right? Just have some moments and I just keep going, one foot in front of the other. That's all you can do. But obviously, you know, here's the thing. I'm never going to hop. I swore when I started this journey that I would always be authentic, and I was never going to, you know, I'm very upfront and honest. I'm a very much an open book. If you haven't, you know, my whole life is out here, right, for everybody. So I'm never going to get on here and be like, yeah, my life is perfect and I don't grieve and I don't have anger and I have all the same things as everybody else, right? Like I just said, though, my motto is, you know, have a moment, don't live there, don't unpack there, have a moment and keep going. Okay, guys, well, I'm not quite to an hour. Does anybody else have anything else they want to add or talk about? Anybody? This last chance, last call. All right, well, if nobody else has anything else they want to add, then I'm going to say I hope y'all have a great night. Make tomorrow great, because it's a choice, right? We can get up and we can choose what kind of day we're going to have. And just remember, you know, sometimes things happen in our day. Just pretend like they're speed bumps, go over them and keep going. So, and I'm going to say until we meet again.